Hello everyone, welcome to AdvancePro University. As Michael mentioned, today we're going to be discussing our multiple warehouse and warehouse transfer capabilities. This is particularly useful if you have multiple distribution centers or if you're running vehicles that carry stock, such as in a service business. So we're going to start off, we're going to go into AdvancePro, and I'm going to show you how to configure multiple warehouses. So here we are in AdvancePro. I'm going to come up to the warehouse tab. We're going to come to our warehouse dashboard. And we're going to go into Manage Warehouses. Now we are logged in right now as a super administrator. So here, if we want to add a particular warehouse, we can go and fill out this form. We give the warehouse a name, an address, and we hit Add. That's going to add it to our list. Now if this particular feature is disabled for whatever reason in your copy of AdvancePro, we just need to give you a license for multiple warehouses. So go ahead and contact your AdvancePro advisor for that. If we'd like to edit the details on any particular warehouse, we just go ahead and check it off, and we can edit all those details and update as well. Now, we can also delete an existing warehouse, and you can name your warehouses whatever you like. We just happen to have named these warehouses Warehouse 1 and Warehouse 2. So next, once you've created your warehouse, you'll need to put products in it. Now, if you'd like a full list of the products you're looking for at this warehouse, we can come into Manage Inventory, and by default, when you come to Manage Inventory, it will actually show all of your stock across all warehouses. We're going to go to a specific warehouse. We can go to Warehouse 1, and that currently has all of our stock in it. Or we can go to Warehouse 2, and this only has a short list. So for that short list, you can just transfer stock into the warehouse. If you want everything listed, you can hit this little dolly button right down here, create all product in the selected warehouse. And when we do that, that's going to blow out your entire list, and it'll show the items that aren't in the warehouse listed at 0, and anything in the warehouse at its current stock levels. Now, if you'd like to do a transfer, you can click this orange button on the right. This allows you to very quickly and instantly transfer from, in this case, our current warehouse, Warehouse 2, to any other warehouse on our list. We put in a quantity, and we can assign any lot or serial numbers that are being transferred. If we're using picking locations, we can choose the to and from picking locations as well, and we'll hit the transfer button. Now that's for transferring one product instantaneously. If we'd like to transfer multiple products, we just go ahead and click the same button, that same orange button, but down here on the bottom. And this opens up a multiple item transfer order. So we can transfer from Warehouse 2 to Warehouse 1. If we do direct, it will be instant. We're just going to list off a number of products and quantities, and it will instantaneously make the transfer. We're actually going to do in transit, which is a little bit closer to like a customer sales order. And there's a setting here called inventory ownership. And what this does is it allows you to say, while this is in transit, we want it to belong to the origin or destination warehouse. And that way the stock level will be listed there as your asset. If you're to run an inventory report, it will be shown as an asset in that warehouse. But it will be, until you've received the product in the warehouse, it will be reserved. So it won't be available to sell until you actually receive the product. We're going to leave it in the origin warehouse. We're going to proceed. So now we're going to place a transfer order. So I mentioned this is a little bit similar to a customer sales order. We are going to place an order, which is like a request. Then we are going to pick and ship the order from the warehouse. That's a separate step. You'll see it. And then we're actually going to receive it in the destination warehouse. So you're going to see each of those discrete steps. At this point, we can set the expected ship and arrival date, set our carrier, and we can choose some products. I'm going to choose from the products we have in stock here. So I'm going to choose 2 or 3 products and make our transfer. So now we've got our stock levels that are available. We can go and put in the amounts that we'd like to transfer. And if we like, we can also go ahead and put in a reason for each item, or we can just go ahead and put a reason down here at the bottom. So this will give us a bit of a paper trail as to why this transfer occurred, or why we're requesting it. Definitely think of this as a request feature. I'll go ahead and save this. Now we can print this out or email it, and we can also get a paper trail on what's happened with this transfer. I'm going to go ahead and process the transfer at this point, and a pick ticket was created. So at this point I'm going to head over to our warehouse area. So this is very, very similar to a customer order. Now down at the bottom we have transfers to pick and transfers to receive. I'm going to go ahead and open up transfers to pick, open up our particular transfer order, and this allows me to go ahead, print this off, pick the items. If there's lot or serial numbers, I can go ahead and get them from our list of lots and serials, or I can scan using our scanner search. And I can also scan by SKU, UPC, or serial number if we have serial numbers. Now, if we have picking locations, you'll also see a column to choose your picking locations, and it will recommend your default locations. So I'm going to go ahead and pick and ship those orders. So those are now successfully shipped to the destination warehouse. If I come back to the warehouse now, it's sitting ready to receive. So it's gone on a truck. Now it's going to come off the truck. So we can count everything as it's coming off the truck. We'll go ahead and open up transfers to receive. We'll open up this order, and we can receive those goods. And again, we can double check that we're receiving the correct serial numbers as well. So at this point, when we receive, this is going to finish the transfer process, and we've now placed the order, we've picked it, and we've received it. If we had done a direct order, it would end as soon as we place that order. As soon as we make the request, it is instant. So those are the differences between our transfer features. Now, at this point, there are two settings I would like to point out to you that can be very helpful. The first one is in the customer settings under View All Customers. We're going to come and click the E button on the right-hand side for opening up our customer settings. And we're going to go to Additional Info. Here we can assign a default warehouse for this customer. So if we have two warehouses, let's say one is in California and the other one is in New York, and we have a customer from California, we want that customer to get their fulfillment by default from our California warehouse. So we could go ahead and choose our California warehouse, and now when that customer gets an order, by default, AdvancePro will try and pull stock from the California warehouse. We'll go ahead and save that. Okay, so that's one setting. The other setting I'd like to discuss is for your actual employees who might be using AdvancePro and will be working in one of your warehouses. I'm going to come up to the admin panel. We're going to come down into Site Administrators, and here we can just choose an employee at will, the one that we want to be working in a specific warehouse. We can assign their role, and we can also assign a warehouse to them. So what this allows us to say is that this particular employee works in Warehouse 1. So when they go to the warehouse panel, they're only actually going to see the orders relating to Warehouse 1. Any picking slips, packing slips, etc. that are dealing with action in Warehouse 2, this particular employee won't see by default. They can look, but it's not available to them right away. Now, that discusses a little bit about how we can deal with our employees who might be located in different facilities. Finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about how sales, pick and pack, and purchasing are all impacted by multiple warehouses. So if I come into customers and I make a new order, I'm just going to choose a customer and sell an item quickly. A couple of items. Grab some items we have stock on. There we go. We've got a couple of items in. I'm going to go ahead and save this and place our order. So this places our customer order. When we come to this process order screen, by default, it's going to try and pull from our default warehouse unless we've changed that warehouse setting for this customer. But we can now decide for this particular item, perhaps we want to pull from Warehouse 2. What this will do is it will create two separate picking slips, one for Warehouse 1 for the first item, and another for Warehouse 2 for the second item. So we can process this and split the order so we can fulfill from different locations. You'll see we happen to be out of stock on the second item, so it's actually going to create a vendor order and try and send that vendor order to Warehouse 2. So let's talk a little bit about vendor orders then. I'm just going to go ahead and make a new vendor order. I'm going to choose my vendor. And if I want to tell a vendor to ship a particular order to a particular warehouse, I can go ahead and choose from this upper drop down, and you'll see right now we've got the address for Warehouse 1 Now we've got the address for warehouse 2, and that's what's going to go to our vendor as the delivery address on this order. So that covers our general tour of how multiple warehouses work in AdvancePro.